Hi, this is Brenda. Over the years, as I was being diagnosed, treated, and in recovery for my hormone related health conditions, I found that reading other people's stories of recovery and management were really helpful. I often found a clue for myself in their story or an idea that put me on another path towards my healing. That's why I took the step to start this website as a place to share my story in the hope that some part of it may help someone else. Thank you for visiting. I've had a fairly complex health history my whole life. My first ovary was removed by emergency surgery when I was 9 years old. At 21, I was diagnosed with a difficult thyroid condition called Graves' disease with accompanying adrenal burnout. My specialists determined that my Graves' disease had gone undiagnosed for a long time. They don't know for how long. And I was told also that if I had been born in an era, the same era as my mother or grandmother, that I likely would not have lived to see my 30s. And that's because of the wear and tear that Graves' disease had already occurred on my internal organs and my musculoskeletal structure as well. Then at 33, my second ovary was removed by emergency surgery, which began immediate surgical menopause and another layer in my journey. As my life progressed and my self study and self advocacy progressed, I began to understand somewhat what was happening to me, and I did my best to navigate my life. What I noticed was that in trying to achieve a workable balance in hormone function, I was very sensitive to chemicals in my food, on my skin, and in my environment. So I started researching and finding alternatives, particularly for the regular personal care items that we all use, things like shampoo and moisturizer and makeup. I noticed that as soon as I used products, especially that contained parabens, I broke into hormonal symptoms of migraine, nausea, and hot flashes. So it's been decades, and I still wash my hair in egg yolks and honey. The only cleanser I use for my skin is coconut oil, and I use baking soda for deodorant. So you get the picture, right? In my life, I find excuse me, that I spend more time reading ingredient labels than anything else. My husband teases me and he calls me the grocery store my library because I'm always lagging behind him and reading labels. But you know, when we work so hard to find balance in long-term situations, it's one of the ways that we support our health is by knowing what's in the things that we're eating and putting on our body, right? I have to say that I have learned to love the person that I've become through my experiences. It wasn't always that way, though. I spent a long time feeling and believing that my body was my enemy and that it was out to betray me in any moment. In my spiritual journey and awareness, I've come to understand that, of course, that is not true. Our bodies contain infinite intelligence and wisdom. And if we partner with ourselves, then our journey towards healing really does become holistic. It's common to talk about owning our life story, and I've owned mine for a long time. And for me, writing this website is actually a way of doing the opposite. It's a way of releasing myself from my story. I've come to the conclusion that these things that have happened can't just be for my own learning and my own benefit. There must be something or many things in my story that can serve others. And that has turned out to be true. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to start this website. This community is where I simply share my experience, what I've learned that has worked for me in advocating for myself over the years. Thank you for visiting, and please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. If you have questions or you want to share your story or need support in any way, I would really love to hear from you. Just email me through this site.